think of each of your appraisal orders as an airplane, right? It gets loaded, it takes off, it flies to its destination, it has to land safely, it has to unload the passengers, the whole thing, right? You need to go from order bidding to order delivery. And somebody needs to control that process.
Originating from deep inside the Rocky Mountains, transported through the power of the internet, and arriving inside your tiny earbuds. It's the Appraiser Coach Podcast, helping appraisers increase their efficiency, quality, and make more money. Here's the guy who makes it his life's mission to create value for real estate appraisers nationwide. Your host and the Appraiser Coach, Dustin Harris.
Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Appraiser Coach Podcast. My name is Dustin Harris, and I am your host, and coincidentally, I am the Appraiser Coach. Just getting off of a wonderful, wonderful couple of days in Salt Lake City, Utah, where I met with a number of different appraisers. I think we were with 23 appraisers from across the country. They flew in from all over for a couple of different events that happened to just be next to each other in the same room, but not necessarily related. The first was an AI workshop where individuals had come with their laptops to build appraisal tools with artificial intelligence. And it was incredible to see the faces light up of people who had never built anything with AI and walked away with a working tool. Was all the pay that I needed. It was absolutely beautiful. It was absolutely confirming that appraisers can do this if we work together and learn these things together. Absolutely an incredible experience, which led, of course, to the announcement of the Appraiser AI Academy, the Appraiser AI Architects, which we started that very weekend. And by the way, if you want to learn more about that, check it out on my website, theappraisercoach.com. If you are an appraiser that wants to build with AI, this is the place for you. And then we had a couple of days of Dream Team Mastermind, which I have been running now since, for 15 years, almost 15 years. And this is a place where appraisers fly in quarterly from all over the country to meet together with their friends, their peers, their colleagues, and myself to help build their business. It was very fun to have two new members in the room this time. And we've got, some veterans that have been there many, many years, over a decade, that they have attended the Dream Team Mastermind. And then we had a couple of new members. And it was just so fun because when new members come, we're reminded of where we were when we were new, right? And the questions that they ask, nobody ridicules, nobody makes fun of, nobody even thinks that, right? It's like, you know what? Yeah. This is all new to you. This is stuff that you've not heard before. And we, as a membership, are there to help each other. Some appraisers get a little bit timid about attending the Dream Team because they think, oh my gosh, I don't want to rub shoulders with that level of people. We got people in there making well over $1 million a year. They're running big, big companies. And then we've got other individuals that are running moderate companies, and we've got other individuals that are running small companies. And then we've got the brand new members that are coming in and learning about things that are new to them. And one of the questions that was asked, actually multiple times, it was a 2-day mastermind, both Monday and Tuesday. And I think the question was asked both Monday and Tuesday. I know it was asked 2 times. It could have been on the same day. It could have been 2 different days. Doesn't matter. But the question came up, can you use a virtual assistant, a VA, as an office manager? I want to answer that question when we come back from the break, but first I want to pause and remind you of a couple of great companies. Of course, one of them being your E&O insurance company, OREP. Why OREP? There are a lot of companies out there that can sell you E&O insurance. First of all, you all need E&O insurance, right? I mean, it's super important. Not only is it required by a lot of clients, it just is a good thing to have because there's no such thing as a perfect appraisal report and you're going to make mistakes. Well, why OREP? OREP, folks, is a broker. That means it's going to take your specific situation and shop it to the various companies out there, and they're going to find you the best price. the best coverage, and they've got your back. Check them out by going to orep.org. That's OREP.org. One more time, orep.org. Right now, folks, I'm going to give you a coupon code in just a little bit. You're going to want to write it down because it will give you 6 weeks free of some amazing software. That amazing software is called TrueTracks, and TrueTracks is the ability to be able to support your adjustments. That's ability to analyze your market. It's ability to do the side that, let's be honest, some appraisers skip. And it's the most important part of the appraisal process. It's the support for your opinions. Now, any of us can open up a report and put anything we want on that report. But folks, when it comes to supporting, when somebody says, where did you get that adjustment? Where did you get that market analysis? Where you marked stable in your neighborhood description? Why? Do you have a solid answer for that? Most appraisers, I'm sorry, folks, just don't. But they should. And they really should when it comes to TrueTracks, because TrueTracks makes it easy. Right now, if you will put this coupon code in at checkout, folks, you can get 6 full weeks. That's not 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, folks, right? I mean, I'm already blown away. If they gave you 2 weeks free, it would be amazing. We're going to triple that. 6 weeks free by using the coupon code Appraiser Coach. That's it. Appraiser Coach, one word, capital A, capital C. I think that matters. Appraiser Coach. 6 weeks of TrueTracks for free by going to www.truefootage.tech/tools. One more time, truefootage.tech/tools. All right, folks, welcome back. We're talking a little bit about the Dream Team Mastermind and a couple of new members, which was super fun because they're learning things for the first time. One of them came up to me during the break and he said, I've only been here an hour and my mind is blown. And I kind of chuckled and I said, yeah, welcome to the Dream Team. And he said, this is awesome. He says, I actually got more value before we even started the meeting. We had gone to dinner the night before, and just the conversation that he had with the other group members the night before was, in his opinion, enough value that it was worth getting on an airplane, flying to Salt Lake, staying the night in a hotel. You know, the other expenses are involved with that. Already, before we even began the meeting, he said he had gotten enough value to make it worth it. And we still had 2 days in front of us. But a question that had come up a couple of times during the mastermind I want to address here. And the question is, can you use a virtual assistant as an office manager? Is it a stellar question, an important question, and not one that was unusual? We've had that, of course, come up because in the Dream Team Mastermind, your goal is to, well, you have an hour to be on the couch. And what does that mean? That means there is sometime during those 2 days that we're meeting together, you are the focus. You are the spotlight. You come prepared with whatever problems, challenges, difficulties, questions, successes that you are experiencing, and you are able to present to the group, and you're the sole focus. Everyone in that room, 16 other appraisers, helping you to better your life, to better your business, to become more successful, to reach whatever goal that you might have for yourself. And that's what happened in Salt Lake. And one of the things we talk about is VAs, virtual assistants. We specifically talk about VAs in the Philippines. That's my go-to country of choice. And, you know, one of the things that VAs do extremely well is data entry. Another thing they can do extremely well is, you know, front office, especially with AI, the communication side, that gap, that English, language barrier, it's pretty much erased when it comes to AI. So they're really good at doing front office stuff as well. But the question comes, what about office management? Now, what are we talking about? When we talk about office management, we are often talking about kind of a twofold approach. And the twofold approach is, on one side, you have, just the normal day-to-day operations of the appraisal office, making sure that phone calls are getting answered, that emails are getting answered, making sure that people show up and do their job, right? Somebody calls in sick, is their coverage, human resource side, if you will, making sure the computers are working, the server's working, making sure that the office is managed, thus the term office manager, right? The other side of that, and it's often conflated, but it really is two separate roles. And it's conflated because a lot of times you can have the same person do both roles. I did for many years, and I do today. And that is air traffic controller. It's a little bit different than office management. It's more about think of each of your appraisal orders as an airplane, right? It gets loaded, it takes off, it flies to its destination, it has to land safely, it has to unload the passengers, the whole thing, right? You need to go from order bidding to order delivery. And somebody needs to control that process. Someone needs to make sure that that plane is not late, but he needs to make sure that that plane lands safely. And of course, when it comes to appraisal orders, it's the keeping your clients happy side of things. And it's an important aspect. And so the question comes up, well, that's a $15, $20, $25 per hour job for, depending on where in the country you're working. Of course, we talk about, you can very easily hire somebody not necessarily in your state. So if you live in, say, California, and the going rate for that job is $25 an hour, you might be able to hire somebody in the Midwest for $15. Right? We talk about that aspect, but of course the natural next question is, well, Dustin, what about hiring somebody in the Philippines at $6 an hour, $7 an hour? And the answer is yes, with a caveat. So a couple things to think about. I have hired without hesitation, this is not just an estimate, it is a fact. Over the years, I've hired personally, this is not just the people that I coach, this is just me. Personally, I have hired over 100 VAs from the Philippines over the years. I've been doing it almost 15 years. I can count on one hand the number of those people who could have filled the role of office manager / air traffic control. Now, why? Many reasons. One of them we talked about, a language barrier can be, even with great English, there's still a bit of a barrier there. Number two is, and probably the biggest concept here to keep in mind, is a cultural barrier. In general, and I know this is a broad brush, and I don't mean to paint with a broad brush, but in general, my experience personally has been that those in the Philippines are more of what I would call a servant mindset, rather than a proactive. In other words, a lot of them don't like to rock the boat. They have a challenge with authority, and sometimes, honestly, just to speak bluntly, in an office manager / air traffic control situation, you sometimes kind of have to be an asshole. You sometimes have to kind of put your foot down and say, for example, you might be speaking to a client and the client's really pushing you to do something, and you might have to say, you know what, I understand where you're coming from. However, the appraiser can only do this on this one. Do so in a kind manner, professional manner, but still a firm manner. And this is where the challenge comes. So in the end, could you find somebody that could be in that role? Yes. However, the two caveats I would give is it may take a while to get there. So I currently have a Filipino VA who's been with me almost a decade, almost 10 years. And by the way, she makes well more than $6 an hour. And it took at least 3 years working with her before I started giving her a few of those management tasks. She now is full-fledged my office manager / air traffic control, and she does an incredible job. She's one of the best I've ever had. But it took a while to get there. And she takes on that role very well, but it took a lot of training, took a lot of correction, took a lot of guidance, took a lot of teaching to get there. So in general, I think you could definitely find a unicorn. I definitely think that there are exceptions to this rule, but in general, I would say the answer is you can find somebody who can be your office manager, but it's probably going to take them longer to get there. And it's going to take a lot of teaching to get there. Usually it's not something you can hire off the bat, though I have heard of exceptions. Thank you for joining me today, folks. I hope that answers that question. And by the way, if you are interested in AI and learning with AI, specifically when it comes to appraisers, I invite you to join us at the Appraiser AI Academy, which is online every month, a couple of meetings a month where we are building together as a team, and the Appraiser AI Architects, which is in combination with the Dream Team, where we are meeting in person in a city for a full day, laptops open, building with AI. Check it out by going to theappraisercoach.com.
You've been listening to the Appraiser Coach podcast with Dustin Harris. If you like what you hear, please give us a 5-star rating and post a short review on iTunes. For more in-depth insider information on how you can make more money as a real estate appraiser, visit theappraisercoach.com and sign up for the All-Star team today. Thanks for joining us. And now, get out there and create some value.